What's cracking, guys? Your boy Junior Mafia, and we gotta talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw. And this was a good show from start to finish, with the exception of one match. The rest of it, chef kiss, so good. And you know what we gotta talk about, and that is a segment with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm gonna start with that first, and then I'm talking about the rest of the what happened on the show. As we proceed. So, um, Roman Reigns, he gets to the arena, and he gets out. He end up, running into the Usos. So he let them know, like, listen, I'm proud of y'all for what y'all did last week, and y'all pretty much put CM Punk in his place. And Jay still going on the assumption, like, I still want him to apologize and all that. And he said, the disrespect was not gonna happen. He said, like, I'm gonna handle what I need to handle later on in the show. He said, as far as the disrespect, he's like, the apologize wise, nah, I don't need it. And he was saying that, for the rest of the family, if y'all have felt a certain way for him bringing up his father and all that, like, y'all deserve to feel like that. So what y'all want to do, have at it. So as the show progresses, they backstage, and Jay still fired up, like, yo, he still need to go apologize and all that stuff. Like, you know, you should have did something last week when he mentioned that. You should have striked him. So Jimmy, they get the same thing and all that stuff. So Roman, like, listen, I'm not worrying about that at all. That's in my rearview mirror. He was talking about, you know, all the stuff he bringing up, like between the part timer, being a part timer, all that shit. So Roman brings up, like, listen, being me the part timer, I'll accept that because it gives me more time um with my wife and my kids and all. He even mentioned about, when his father, he said he didn't really have that much time to spend with him when he was young because his father was always on the road. And all. And he said that, Jimmy and Jay, y'all can relate to that because your father was always on the road as well. So he said, in the day, I pay my dues. So if people want to complain about me being a part timer, I take that as a badge of honor because guess what? Now I gotta be a full time father, be a full time husband, and all that. And I felt that right there. As a father myself, you felt that energy when he said that because it's the truth. So he's saying, like, I'm gonna go address him. And also we cut to the main event. But before I get into that, um, you see the Usos and they walk in, and LA Knight comes into the picture because early in the show, you seen Paul Heyman. He was talking to, um, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, and he was saying, like, listen, I know y'all mindset is on, Seth Rollins and all that right now, but I need y'all to move on from that and focus on putting attention on getting the tag titles from the Usos. He said the vision, if we want to be afloat right now, we need to have goals around our waist. So he was saying that y'all handle business with the Usos. Nothing else past that. But Logan Paul brings up, yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna listen to you, Paul. We're gonna handle business there. But also we're gonna handle LA Knight. So when we get to later on, you see the Usos, they walk in, you see LA Knight there. So he pretty much was saying, like, I heard everything that happened earlier, and you know, one of us, like, what's going on with, y'all being so friendly with Roman. Like, he's like, getting a little too comfortable right now because he knows the history of Roman Reigns and how he mistreated Jimmy and Jay, when it was the whole bloodline situation. So you see Jimmy saying, like, we go in there, we can handle this family business, we're gonna handle that. So Jay's like, yeah, so you mind your business and all. Turning the crash out Jay a bit. So LA Knight says, listen, at the end of the day, we almost got one goal in mind, and that's to take away the vision. He said, I'm with y'all on that one, but when it comes down to this bloodline thing, if y'all think we're going back to that, and I'm gonna be on the same page as y'all, that's not the case. So he let it be known. He like, listen, we're gonna handle business and do other jobs, and that's get rid of the vision. So He was all in on it. Jimmy dapped him up. He took to Jay. Jay gave him that little stink look and all that, and then he walked off. So something to keep in mind, as these weeks progresses and all. So we get to the main event. So Roman coming out there, of course, man, Oro on the 9,000 as always, and he gets in there. He was saying like, you know, we all know whose show was this. He said CM Punk always self-proclaimed himself that this is my show and all of that stuff and air quotes. And he was like, at the end of the day, I'm the beginning, I'm the middle, and I always close out the show because that's just who I am. So he just literally just aura building off that alone. So he said, now you know what? Cut to the chase and all that. I know you here, CM Punk, so just come out here. Let's get this over with. So CM Punk, he comes down there and he gets into the ring. And Punk gets in there and he pretty much says, like, I like how you keep referring me as Phil. He said, only my family and my close friends called me by my government name. He said, it's the reason why I never had called you by your government name because, I'll always look at you as, I think, Titty Tahara, something like that. I found was hilarious. And he was saying that the reason why I never had called you Joe because that would be an insult to, a real Samoan. And no, so I like the reference he did with Samoa Joe. He said he goes close friends with and all that. So Roman says, well, yeah, you see that Joe over there? Yeah, I smashed him and all that. And, he's in another company now. So as that whole thing going on, Punk brings up about, um, you know, when it came down, to get last week and all that, I thought you would have showed up and you would have attacked me over what I said. But he was saying that your cousins, pretty much showed up and, they wanted me to apologize and all, and they ended up hitting me for it. So he was like, yo, it was the right thing to do, the wrong messenger. And pretty much playing, like, going off the assumption of this is why you always send your family to do your dirty work, but you can't do it yourself because you was a chicken shit to even show up. So, Roman, he gonna say it crystal clear, like, you know, you say the same redundant things all the fucking time. When it comes down to the whole part timer thing and me not showing up and all, and he's like, yo, me being a part timer, he like, yo, I move the needle like that, like, part time make big time money, like go ask your wife that. He said, yo, you like, can you don't main event and all, like you have a main event this year and all, you don't move the needle that I do. So he said, if you don't come up with no good material to back up what you have to say, don't waste my time. And just walked off. But as he tried to do that, literally, Punk is cutting him off on different angles. When he tried to leave out, Punk left out too. And he let it be known, like, listen, we ain't doing that here. This is my show right here. And I'm going to make this perfectly clear. You don't leave until I tell you to leave and all. So Roman gets back into the ring. Punk's get right back in there. And he was saying that I'm already in your head and I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. He said, I'm going to lift you up. I'm a GTS you and split that ego of yours. And I'm going to leave out of WrestleMania as champion. So Roman goes in an assumption of, like you thinking all that. Like I wasn't trying to go this far, but since we're gonna bring it here, let's do that. He said, "You talking about how you just good of a champion, though, but for one, you're an embarrassment. Like you're naive, you're a fraud, everything under the sun." He says, "I'm better than you on so many levels." He said, "The only thing you got that's good right now is that you could talk on the mic." But he said, when the talking is over and it's time to do the walk, that's what you lack of. And says, I'm better than you in all aspects. I'm stronger than you. I'm faster than you. you know, I'm good looking to you. Like you can't touch me and all. And said that you wearing that World Heavyweight Championship and it's an embarrassment. Like because of everything I'm saying right now and the things you can't do, like you're pretty much old. And that's when CM Punk attacks him. He lays him out, and before you do anything, Adam Pearce him is holding him back and all, and you just see Roman Reigns smirking, like he's just laughing and all that. And he says, "This is my point right here. It takes the littlest things to get him triggered and for him to strike." And he said, "This is the reason why I feel like he can't be champion." So as he's doing that, Roman talking his shit as he's laid out on the floor. So when he gets up and they try to separate them, he's talking into the cameraman. And he was saying like, "Yo, he think he could play these mind games with me. Like I could also match that energy of playing mind games." And let him know like, "Listen, he ain't built for this, and I'm gonna beat him and all." So I love the interaction that they have. That I think was better than the ones they had, you know, from the past 2 to 3 weeks. Not so much. I think that was still the better one. But now to see Punk strike the way he did, now is it a situation where do Roman does that next week? We will have to see. But this is only going to get better, for weeks to come, and I am here for it. I definitely enjoyed that segment a whole lot, and it's just gonna continue to rev up and all. And the question is, do the Usos get involved in that next week? So I thought they was gonna do that after Punk strike them, but that was never the case. So we'll see how next week turns out, and we're gonna go from there. And I gotta talk about what happened um in that segment to kick off the show. So you see Seth Rollins comes out and he has all those guys in those C-mats and hoodies and all that. They all surrounded the ring. So he gets in there and he's letting me know, like, "Listen, I'm here to pack up the vision and all that. Like, I created them so I could destroy them." And he was saying anybody that try to line us up with them, it's pretty much going to get packed up too. He said, "I'm here to put them out for good." So as he's saying that, you see Cuckoo Kachu Warriors Paul Heyman starts to walk down, and he just looked defeated after taking that chair shot and getting packed up the way he did last week. His eye, one of his eye bloodshot red. Like the nigga ain't shaved, in weeks. And he just looked broken down. And he was saying that, so I had to interrupt, like, your hate promo and stuff. But he said, "You F with me, I had to F with you." He said, "You F around and find out." And he said, "You're going to fuck around and find out." And he said, "You fuck around, F5." And that moment there, Brock Lesnar come out. And I said, "Oh, no." So, when him arriving there, shit was about to get real. Now, here's the thing. Because I would have thought all those niggas in ski masks and hoodies, it's about 15, 16 of y'all. Y'all could have had at least jumped this nigga Brock and all would have been good. But instead, they have to start to go one by one. This man proceeds to German suplex every single one of them, pass these niggas up. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, bro, y'all, you ready till he get to the ring to like 4 y'all to try to jump him, but y'all could have all left out, surrounded this nigga, and packed him up. But no, niggas wanted to go a different direction, and they could handle on their own, and literally got packed up for their troubles. So as he clean house and all that, gets into the ring, pack all four of them niggas up. Now it's just Seth and Brock in the middle of the ring. And when we thought we was about to have something go down, lights turns off, and here comes Obafemi. And when I say that crowd erupted, it it was bone chilling and all. And he gets into that ring, didn't need to say much. Proceed like Seth went in there to pretty much distract Brock Lesnar when he left out. Soon Brock turned around, Oba lifts him up, hits him with a power bomb, just dominated Brock, and then proceeds to put his foot on his chest to let him know this is my yard right here. Like, I'm the big dog now. If you want to continue on this throne, take it from me now. Just insert his dominance. And I love that right there, because that's how you set it. You make a statement there. Like your time has passed, nigga. This is my time now. But this is my biggest fear, and I hope and pray that this goes the way it's supposed to, and that is Brock Lesnar losing to Obafemi at WrestleMania because now they confirmed the match later on. But I hope and pray they do right and make the right decision on letting Oba beat Brock Lesnar. Because what do Brock gain for beating Obafemi? Let's be honest. And I only bring that up because, it was reports backstage from Paul Heyman saying that, he talked to Triple H and someone creative to pitch an idea to not have Brock Lesnar lose, all the way until SummerSlam, said it'd be in Minnesota, and that probably must be his last match, and then he retires, which I disagree with because you want to build Obafemi strong as possible and do not have him take any L's anytime soon. And I feel like there's other superstars that could potentially put, he could lose to outside of Brock Lesnar. Because again, what do you gain from that? What do you gain? You want him to be on this absolute tear and and do time hack go around his waist. So I feel like he shouldn't be taking no L's no time soon. We'll continue to discuss this for weeks to come and all, as we get closer to WrestleMania. But I just hope for the love of God they do not go that direction and have him lose to Brock Lesnar because I'm telling you right now, if that happens, I'm going to lose it. I promise you, I'm going to lose it. This shouldn't happen at all. But that was a good way to kick off the show. I enjoyed that so much. We also had some good matches, with I said Over but Penta and Dragon Lee, which they tore the house down. That was fantastic. And I love what Dragon Lee is doing now. And I would hope they continue to build on his momentum. Ever since he started crashing out on Gunther and all, and now he had this open challenge with Penta, it's like, yo, you take that momentum and you continue to build off that along because they can go a long way with him right there. And I love that he stepped up as well, you know. So definitely looking forward to what they do there. Um, they also had a match with AJ taking on Bailey, which AJ ended up retaining, which shocked me because she tapped out Bailey because I thought it would have been some interference from Becky Lynch there, and that would cause a disqualification. They lead up to a triple threat match at WrestleMania. But after the match, when we was on commercial break, come back, you see Becky Lynch pretty much packing up AJ Lee, towards the ramp area. So as she's doing that, and pretty much hit her with the title and stuff, like she was pretty much done and over with. So they're going to bring back that field again, but they're gonna insert Bailey in that because Lyra Valkyria was telling Bailey backstage like, I'm gonna make sure that you get into WrestleMania and that get your rematch again. So I think it's gonna be turned into a triple threat, between Bailey, AJ Lee, and Becky Lynch, and also I see that happening and all. But overall, I enjoyed the show a whole lot. For me, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Outside of that match with Maxine and Natty, which I thought that was a snooze fest. I enjoyed that from start to finish. So comment down below. Let me know. Oh, before I get into that too, I had to mention this too. So Michael Cole was supposed to have an interview with Randy Orton, but he was on the phone talking to somebody, and somebody in my chat said that could have been Kevin Owens he was speaking to, and he mentions that to Michael Cole, we're not gonna do no interview right now. Like in due time, I'll reveal what I need to get off my chest. But mentions to Michael Cole that I'm a killer and wrestling has more than one royal family, and left it at that. And I thought that was the craziest shit that he could say. Now I know it sounds kind of cliche because that's what Cody says, or that's what he says. But Randy Orton knowing him as a legend killer and him hearing voices in his head, he tapped into that side of him. It's like, listen, I don't care what y'all say. I will pack anybody up to get the job done. And I feel like that's going to be his mentality from now to WrestleMania. So my only thing is I want to see Cody response to that. Like, if I'm Cody, the same way with Drew McIntyre, you cut that conversation short and you be on crash out mode. And I know it's gonna hurt him because how close he was with Randy and him being his mentor and all that. All that shit is out the window at this point. You got one mission in mind, and that is to get your get back. Because I'm gonna tell you now, Randy ain't doing no more talking either. He said, you want to keep going this route, if you want to explain everything and how hurt you are, he don't give a damn about that. Because any chance he can get his hands on you, trust and believe he will. And make no mistake about it, you know that's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to what happened on Friday Night SmackDown this Friday. And definitely going to be streaming that. So y'all make sure y'all check it out with me on Twitch and on YouTube as well. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I definitely had to mention that too because I couldn't end this video without mentioning that. So comment down below. Let me know what you think about Monday Night Raw. How did you feel about this segment with CM Punk and Roman Reigns? And, with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar as well too. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. But I appreciate your love and support. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process of anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.